Hi, everyone. I'm Christy Forsyth. I felt called to pop on. I've been trying to go live more. You guys have probably noticed, and I'm loving it. I'm loving the traction, the way that I'm noticing that things are reaching people further on Facebook. And, you know, the blessing and the gift of that is that I feel like I'm connecting with more people. I feel like more people are connecting with these messages. Not so much on my YouTube yet, but we'll see. We'll see what that looks like. So if you're watching this on my YouTube channel, please hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Please help me to help it grow a little bit. I feel like there are a lot of messages, a lot of topics that we talk about that people need to see. And so definitely anytime you watch one of these and you feel like, you know what, people need to, there's somebody specific that needs this message, please tag them, forward it to them, whatever you want to do. That's always so helpful. And of course, like this, heart this, whatever you want to do, comment on this, all of it helps. So I was just trying to think with the intention of wanting to go live more, what do I want to talk about today? What do I feel called to talk about today? And I was just thinking about how I've talked a lot this week about relationships and how that's really in the forefront right now in a lot of ways in what's going on in the energy. We have a lot of relationship stuff happening, right? Good things, challenging things. We pulled that tower card when we were pulling tarot on Tuesday. A lot of things are falling apart, coming together. Doors are closing, doors are opening. We're processing. We're trying to see where all of this is going. And here around this full moon, that's very much a focus. And so then I thought, another theme that seems to come up that piggybacks off of that a little bit is feminine energy, divine feminine energy. So this isn't necessarily a male female thing because we all have masculine energy and feminine energy. And so for the past few years, I've been really interested in this topic and the idea of a little bit more of that polarization of feminine energy, masculine energy, just because, like, what I've noticed is that as we lean into the energy that we're kind of built to embody, so in my case, that would be feminine energy, that it feels more natural once we can get into that it feels like it's right, and so as we begin to embody that, we find ourselves in a place of more alignment. And we also find ourselves in a place where, for example, in a relationship situation, that we are triggering that masculine response within someone who would be more aligned within the masculine energy. And this can be a really good thing to support healthy, positive relationships. So there was this video that I was watching. It just came upon my YouTube feed one day, and I wish I could remember who it was because I would love to give her credit. But I was just listening. I always like to listen to what people have to say about these things. And she said something that stood out to me because as I said, I've been working on this for a few years. I really felt called to focus on embodying the energy of the Empress in the tarot. The Empress is the queen of the queens, and we're going to talk about her. But I just felt this pull, this call to focus on that and make that a focus of the work that I'm doing and the ways that I'm showing up in the world. So she was talking about divine feminine energy and how we embody that. And one of the things that she listed really stood out to me and gave me one of those aha moments, because she said, not allowing people to help you is having a masculine shield as someone who is built to be a feminine energy. So not allowing people to help you is continuing to carry on that masculine shield. Now, again, remember, this is something I've been working on, letting that shield down, because I think that this has happened for so many women, so many people, so many feminine energies. because there's felt this need to protect ourselves. And I also think in society, there's a lot of emphasis still on masculine energy is kind of the way that we do things, right? There's a lot of value being placed on taking action and, you know, the hustle and leading things and all of those things, right? So, like all of that stuff that we think that we need to do in this very fast-paced society. And so, but now we're shifting into a time where kind of as a collective, we're being invited to lean into more of this flowy feminine energy. And that doesn't mean that we're not going to be taking action, but it certainly means that there's a shift. And so that's something I've been working on. And we all carry, or not all, but many of us carry this masculine shield. And so I do a lot of this work with the women that I work with in terms of how do we release that? How do we let that go so that we are embodying that feminine energy that is vulnerability, that is allowing our emotions to be seen. But I never thought about the help thing. And it makes so much sense because that's really a masculine energy thing. Not that like feminine energy doesn't help. That's not what I mean. But there are ways that masculine energy helps that can be different from how feminine energy helps. And so I was thinking about that and had that aha moment. And I said, you know what? When I go away this weekend, which was last weekend, and I was in Orlando for a speaking event. When I go away for this, I'm going to think about that. I'm going to be better about allowing help in whatever ways help wants to come into my experience. So I made that commitment to myself because if I'm honest, like this is still something that I have a lot of work to do on. I am not very good at that. And I guess I never really thought about it that way, that I'm actually robbing someone of the pleasure of helping me, of supporting me, of whatever, and doing something that comes so naturally to them. So that was really interesting. And so I made that commitment to myself. And I was getting onto the airplane. Some of you guys know that I've had this issue with a frozen shoulder since last year. I mean, it's been a very long time. And it's nearly healed, but there's still a couple of things, like lifting things over my head is still, I still kind of feel weak with that. So I was a little concerned about like, how am I going to get my suitcase up in the plane, right? Because that's, and it was heavy too. So I was like, oh no, I don't know. Am I going to be able to do this? Right. So I'm a very intentional person. I just set the intention. I was like, I would love it if someone would help me with this. And when I go to like get into my seat, and before I even made the attempt to put my bag up there, a wonderful gentleman stood up and said, I can do that for you. And so I said, oh, this is what I asked for. I invited in the help. And so I said, oh yeah, okay, thank you so much. And so he took the bag and he went to put it up. And this is what I did. I reached for the bag and I went to like help him put it up there. Like he couldn't do it on his own. Like that was just my knee-jerk response. And that was so interesting to me. Hi, Lynette. Nice to see you here. Sorry I didn't say hi earlier. It was so interesting to me. I was like, again, another aha moment. Like, wow, you can't even allow that. You have some work to do with this. And so it became really clear that I still have a lot of work to do with this. And I think a lot of women or feminine energies have a lot of work to do around this if we want to truly embody this energy that is the Empress, right? The divine feminine, the magnet of the tarot. She is absolutely magnetic. You see her there in her comfy chair, right? She's not out there doing all the things. She certainly is not putting her suitcase up in that top shelf on the airplane, especially if she's concerned about her shoulder. She's not doing that, right? She's sitting in her comfy chair. And like, this isn't about laziness. It's not about that. She's already laid all of the groundwork to allow everything that she wants to come to her. So she creates all these circumstances where she becomes the ultimate magnet. See that river that's flowing behind her? It's flowing to her, right? It's meant to represent flow, but it's also meant to represent things flowing to her, not by hard work, hustle, having to like do everything and not allow help, but by allowing herself to be in flow, by allowing herself to be moved and find herself in the right place at the right time. She is intentional. She sets intentions, and then she knows that because she's already been following her flow and taking action as she needs to, because she doesn't not take action. She just doesn't feel this need to force things in the same way, right? Or to power her way through things in the same way. If she gets an intuitive prompt to do something, she does it. So she allows it to flow to her after she sets those intentions, after she is intentional with that, and part of that intention is in allowing herself to be moved. So she feels this intuition, because the divine feminine is the intuition. If she feels this intuition to take an opportunity to go somewhere that just, I don't know why, but I feel like I need to go there, or to just like let herself be moved and to flow and be malleable with what's showing up for her, that always puts her in a position of abundance in all forms. All this wheat around her is meant to represent abundance, right? And she looks pretty cozy. She looks pretty happy. She's got a pretty special crown there. She's surrounded by beauty. She is ruled by Venus. Like, this is all the beautiful things. So it's important just to think about that, and how we might, if we feel called. I would never be in a position where I would say you must lean further into your feminine energy, but ask yourself first, like, do you feel as though you have been carrying a masculine shield to protect yourself, right? And I think, through my aha moment anyway, that a big part of the masculine shield is in not allowing help. For me, it's always been like, I don't want to like put other people out, but I'm realizing again, like I'm not allowing them to help me, and that's something that they want to do. So it doesn't even make sense. So it's just like breaking up these paradigms in my head. So we have to allow help if that's something that we're interested in. We also have to be mindful that we want to flow, not force. And I was talking about that here in the energy this week, how important that is, to flow, not force. That our power is not in us trying to force anything, trying to control anything. In fact, your power is probably never in there. You can sometimes put a lot of action into something, but I don't think that that's really that feminine energy that we're trying to embody. It's following the flow of, sometimes I want to put action into this, sometimes I feel called to put action into this, and then sometimes I feel called to rest and enjoy my comfy, cozy chair, and to find that beautiful balance. So that feminine energy has to allow that flow rather than trying to force things. And I think it's a good question to ask yourself, what am I trying to control? Am I trying to control anything? And again, for the men or masculine energies who are watching this video, it's a good message for you as well, because flow is beneficial to all of us. And also, you have some feminine aspects to your energy field, right? Some more than others. It just kind of depends. So it's important to keep that in mind. So it's also about, for the Empress or for divine feminine, it's about alignment, right? Just allowing ourselves to put ourselves into positions that feel aligned. And sometimes that's going to require us to say no to some things or to close doors on some things. I have been very clear this week on some things that just are not at the level that I would like them to be, that are not, in my opinion, matching where I am at and what I am seeking, right? They're not a match for the magnet that I'm creating in my experience that I'm trying to magnetize to me. So I'm willing to let that go. I'm willing to just release and flow and see what God has for me, see where I'm being led. So that alignment is key. And that alignment is like, how am I investing my time, my energy? And is the majority of that time and energy invested in things that feel aligned for me? And if the answer to that is no, we want to explore that. So, what if it feels out of alignment? What are you being shown would align for you, would be a better fit for you? And maybe you don't know yet, and that's okay too, right? We can sit in that divine feminine energy of connecting to our intuition. And, sometimes intuition is immediate and very fast. And then other times it takes some time to feel into, to explore, to see where we're at, and then we make a decision. So sometimes we don't know just yet what that looks like, but we have usually a pretty good idea when something steps out of alignment for us. I was talking in my energy reading on Tuesday about how we have these so many soul contracts that are coming to a close, and then also a lot of soul contracts that are coming in as well. And so it's kind of a pretty significant shift with that. And so we want to let ourselves flow with that and see, let what wants to go, go, let what wants to come in, and see where all of that leads. And recognize that as things are coming in, ask yourself, does this feel aligned? Does this feel good? And again, you might not know, it might take some time, but let yourself explore that. The Empress sets intentions. The divine feminine is very intentional, right? And so when I say set intentions, people make this harder than it needs to be. All it is just asking the universe for something that you need. It's saying I would like, or I now have, or I am, is the most powerful way to set an intention. And then you follow that with what you want to create. And I set intentions every single day for my day, and for other things that I have going on. So I will write about things that I want to have happen for the day. You can do it like, these are my intentions for the day. I usually write it as though it's the end of the day and these are the things that have happened, because I like to write about them in the present moment, because I think that that's more powerful. So also, divine feminine energy, her power, her magnetism, because she is the magnet, she is absolutely magnetic, comes through vibration. That's just really a fancy word for the amount of light that someone has in their energy field. So more light, the higher the vibration, the better you feel, the better experiences you're having here on earth, because you're calling in higher frequency, higher vibrational experiences. So the divine feminine focuses on her vibration and gets that into a place where that feels aligned for her, where that feels good, where that's a match for the things that she wants to create. She's working on her magnet to get her magnet to the place that magnet is calling into her experience the things that she actually wants, not the things that she doesn't want. And so with that, I always say, like, pay attention to your vibrational diet. Pay attention to what it is, or how you're responding to things throughout your day, your week, whatever. How are you responding to people, places, and things? How do you feel when you go into your workspace? And if you feel really yuck, are there some changes that you could make? Or at least some small adjustments to make that feel a little bit better. How do you feel when you watch a certain TV show or a movie? I give this example all the time, but like, I feel like garbage when I watch horror movies. I don't like Halloween-y things. I'm so sensitive, actually, that sometimes even for me, like, the costumes and things are a little tough if they're more like on the scary side. Now, that's not not true for everybody. Not everybody feels that or has that response to that. But for me, I just know like that doesn't really vibe with me. But I love all things Christmas. And so it's like paying attention to that stuff. And how do you feel when you have been really good about hydrating the body through the day? And how do you feel when you haven't been good about hydrating the body, or when you've had 8 cups of coffee that day? Or how do you feel when you've eaten something that you know is fueling your body versus, having fast food for every meal that day? Big difference, right? So it's like paying attention to those things because all of these things matter. All of these things affect us. How do you feel when you're interacting with specific people? And do you need to make adjustments? I think that that's going to be quite clear this week. Like, who do we want to be around? Who values us? Who honors us? Who makes us feel good when we're with them and when we're not with them? And who doesn't? And so I think that we're really taking a look at that and making a lot of changes. And in terms of like relationships, feminine, masculine relationships, the feminine allows herself to be more led by the masculine. That masculine energy is leading, the feminine energy is guiding through emotion and vulnerability. So it's, again, that can be hard sometimes with that. But I think that if we can just kind of start to pay attention to this and think about some of these things that I talked about today, that it can support you in leaning more into this energy, in focusing on becoming the Empress. And if you're not sure where to start, I think 2 really good places to start, well, 3 good places to start would be to try to flow a little bit more, right? So just like going with the flow of what's happening and letting that flow lead your actions, right? We don't have to like take a lot of actions because we're anxious about something or because we're trying to control it, but wait until you feel that inspired action, that intuitive prompt to take action, and then take it. And also flowing with what's showing up in your experience, and trusting that everything is working out for us, trusting that everything is leading us where we need to be. So that, and then of course, and this is what I'm working on, allowing help and being open to, and catching yourself when you like are not, right? I had to call myself out when I tried to like push that suitcase, and he looked at me weird, like, what the hell are you doing? It didn't make any sense. But that's okay. That's okay. We're always growing, and I'm not perfect and you're not perfect, and we're all working on things. And so the last one I would say is that focus on that vibrational diet, because that'll help you no matter who you are, no matter what kind of energy you're trying to embody. That's going to support you in creating an energy that's going to magnify better things to you through that process. So, speaking of being magnetic, I do want to highlight that tomorrow, and I'm so excited for this, my Upgrade Your Life Rapid Hypnosis, Magic Hypnosis sessions launches tomorrow. And they're really helpful in reprogramming the subconscious mind, which is 90% of your brain. And that helps to create a higher quality magnet for you and your experience. So I went through lots of different topics. I went through relationships, money, career, business, stress and triggers, so many different things, confidence. And you can see the list when you go to take a look at it. And just covered all of them. And they're not long. I think all of them are under 12 minutes. But they're quick and effective and are programmed with energy. So I did full energy sessions with all of them. So for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about with that, it's basically using energy to magnify the results, to support you in clearing, releasing, and empowering your energy field with what you need around that particular topic to help you be successful. So I'm pretty excited about it. I used healing frequencies for the music in the background, all of it. And it's like the full bundle is right now anyway, $37. So that drops tomorrow. I already had an insider list that I shared that with today, and people like have been loving it. I'm already getting feedback from people who bought it and have used it today. And I'm really excited. Thank you guys so much. Like that, it means everything to me. I felt so called to make this, and then to see the response that I got today just in the pre-launch has been amazing. So yeah, I'm doing a limited number of sales at that $37. So if you want that, and you get to download them right onto your device and keep them, it's not like you have to like go to YouTube and like replay the videos or something. They'll go right to your device. You can download them on multiple devices, whatever you want to do. So tomorrow you can have that, and that's going to go out to my email list first, and then I will be sharing it on my socials. So I put the link down below to get on my email list so that you can be one of the first to get that. And it's also an easier way for you to find it, because I don't know, like some of this stuff gets lost here. But I would love to share that with you if that's something that you feel called to do, to use. I think that you're going to love it. I have a lot of people tell me that they fall asleep listening to my voice, especially with like the weekly readings. And I have a lot of recordings up in my Clarity by Christy membership. And so they fall asleep to my voice. And so this is several sessions that you can use to fall asleep to my voice. I also have an affirmation recording in there of like, it's like an affirmation riff. So it's just played with music, so you can listen to it in your bed before you get out of bed in the morning, because that's when your brain is most programmable, or when you're falling asleep at night, you can play it, or like when you're doing something like going for a walk, or you're driving to work, if you want to get yourself pumped up and ready to go into work. So there's lots of stuff in there. I believe there's 7 hypnosis sessions, 6 specific topics. 1 is focused on just creating any change in your life. And then there is the affirmation riff. And I think I put a couple other little gifts in there for you to download too. So check that out. I put that link below. If you have questions about that, or if you're like, I don't know what the hell you're talking about, please reach out. I'm happy to explain. And because I know some of the stuff that I do is a little different for some of you, but I think that you'll love it. I think that you'll feel it, even if you don't understand it. So check it out tomorrow. All right, guys, take care. I will see you soon with another video. Actually, I'll see you tomorrow, because I'm going live with Nicole Eaton tomorrow at noon. So we'll see you then.